simply deferring the date to 2013.
Dr. Jackie Blue.
Mr Speaker, I'm very pleased to rise at first reading of the Prisoners and Victims Claim 2012 Expiry and Application Dates Amendment Bill. As has been alluded to before, crime affects everyone, affects communities, affects families, it affects society, it affects the economy, but most of all it affects the victims. And that is why this is so important. This bill, as an interim measure, is passed through the House. The toll on victims and families is immeasurable. Victims didn't ask to be a victim. They didn't wake up that morning and think, right, I'm going to be a victim. It is something that has happened, obviously, without any premeditation on their part, and they are blameless. But this bill will ensure that prisoners' compensation will continue to be redirected to support victims over the next year or so. And it will allow time for the 2011 bill, the Prisoners, Victims, Claims Redirecting Prisoner Compensation Bill, to pass through the House. And of course this government will ensure that that bill is enacted before June 2013. It's important as an interim measure that we have this bill, and it's pleasing that all parties are supporting this bill at this stage. We are, as a government, serious about putting victims at the centre of the justice system. I'm really, really proud of what the government has actually done for victims and will continue to do so. We're determined to build a safer New Zealand for families, for individuals, for communities. We have a comprehensive program that we're implementing, and in particular the $50 levy that's been established for all offenders has been very successful in the first year alone. Over $2 million, twice what was expected, has been achieved in that first year, and that money has been redirected to new services to support victims, and that is what it's all about. More than 2,000 victims, Mr Speaker, all their families have benefited from that levy in the first year. 13 new services such as funeral grants for families of murder victims, grants to families of murder victims, more services for victims of sexual violence, expanded financial help for victims attending case-related meetings, and this new financial assistance, Mr Speaker, and for counselling for families whose loved one has been killed not by homicide but other criminal acts such as dangerous driving. But I'm really particularly pleased. In front of the Justice Electoral Select Committee is the Victims of Crime Reform Bill, and in that bill there will be more weighting given on the victim impact statement. The current process at the moment, I understand, is that the victim has to ask permission of the judge to read out their victim impact statement, and surprisingly sometimes it's declined. This bill will ensure that due weighting is given to that victim impact statement, and so it should be. The only limit will be time, but they can traverse any subject on how that crime has affected them at any particular level. And I think that's an important change, and I'm delighted it's in that bill. Importantly, there will be more help for victims of sexual violence. Almost 1,300 victims received a discretionary grant to cover immediate costs, and almost 540 victims were assisted by the Sexual Violence Court Support Service. Mr Speaker, this is an important bill. It's an interim measure. It's vital that it's passed, and it's pleasing that it has support of all parties. I commend it to the House.
Honourable Phil Goff.
Mr Speaker, the Labor Party certainly